We are back here in Madden 25 franchise mode with another fantasy draft, and today we are going to be using the all-time rosters. So as you guys can see, this roster has guys like JJ Watt, Andre Johnson, Julius Peppers, Luke Kuechly, Darrelle Revis, Nick Mangold, etc, etc. This roster also does have players in their prime overall as well. So for example, Khalil Mack, he's a 95 overall here, as well as Zadarius Smith, who's up to an 88 overall here. And so I am challenged today with trying to draft a Super Bowl winning team using the all-time rosters here in Madden 25. And before we actually get started with this fantasy draft, I want to give a huge shout out to the creator of this roster. This roster is insane, and I can only imagine how much time it actually took to make it. So if you want to try it out, the name of the roster will be up on the screen. And with that being said, we will see what pick we get here in the draft. So we get pick 24, which is very much less than ideal, but there is still going to be a ton of talent on the board. So the top 4 of this draft were all current players. So we'll see who the top players available are. So Rod Woodson appears to be the highest rated one. And just looking at quarterbacks, Fran Tarkenton, Vikings legend. I'm a huge Vikings fan. And there's also 2 Randall Cunninghams. That's interesting. I did not notice that early. And there's also 2 Dante Culpeppers. Is that like a repeating thing? So I gotta see. And Jameis Winston, he's up to an 86 overall. But yeah, out of curiosity, Tim Tebow is in here as well. Yeah, I don't know if that's just like glitched out, or if that's actually how the roster is, where there's 2 Randall Cunninghams and 2 Dante Culpeppers. So I mean, I guess we'll have to see if like we see repeat players. Yeah, we see another one right here, Kellen Winslow. So I don't know. I guess there's some repeats, 2 Larry Allens as well. So yeah, I mean, I guess there's some repeats around here, but regardless though, this roster is still very cool. Even if there's a few repeats here and there, it doesn't take away from how good this roster is. But anyways though, with our round 1 pick 24, we are going to be taking a quarterback here, as it is kind of the most important position. And Russell Wilson, he is ranked number 1, but I am a Vikings fan, so there's a little bit of bias here. We are going to be taking Fran Tarkenton to be our quarterback here in this fantasy draft. And we are back on the clock here in round 2. So it looks like Randall Cunningham and Dante Culpepper both got taken. So just out of curiosity, we'll see if there's still, and there's not. Okay, so maybe it was just a glitch in round 1. Let's see, is there 2 Larry Allens? Okay, it looks like there is. So I don't know, I guess maybe it wasn't a glitch. I don't know, it doesn't really matter. We'll move on from that. So, but anyways though, here in round 2, Aaron Donald's here. I cannot pass up on him. Sitting at 99 overall, we're going to be taking him in round 2, adding him to our defense here. And here in round 3, we are going to be adding another piece to our defense. This time in the secondary though, Charles Woodson, 98 overall cornerback, is still available. And getting a good corner is very important, and it's also something that I usually forget to do. If you've seen previous fantasy draft videos of mine, you guys know corner is something I usually skip out on. Not intentionally, I just completely forget, even though it's a very important position. Regardless though, we're not doing that here. Charles Woodson is added to this secondary. I also did not mention this, but this will be a 1-season thing, so we're just trying to build the best possible team for a 1-season simulation and see if we can bring home that Lombardi trophy here using this roster. But what we're going to be doing here in round 4 is adding an edge rusher to complement Aaron Donald on the defensive line. And there is someone I did have in mind, and that guy is none other than Michael Strahan. We are going to be adding him to our defensive line here in round 4. 96 overall, he's a very solid addition. And in round 5, Ed Reed, 99 overall, is just sitting here. He's been sitting here for a while, and I've kind of been thinking about if I want to take him or not. I really cannot pass up on him for another round. So in round 5, we are going to be adding another piece to our secondary. Ed Reed, welcome to the team. And now what I think we need to do in round 6 here is add a wide receiver for Fran Tarkenton to throw the ball to. So let's just see. Marvin Harrison is here, Julio Jones, Chris Carter, Vikings legend. So there is plenty of people we can go for. There's 2 Raymond Berries if we want both of them. I mean, we could get both. That could work. What we're going to be doing here, we are going to avoid the Vikings bias just for one more round, and instead of going with Chris Carter, we are going to be going with Marvin Harrison, and we will be giving Fran Tarkenton someone to throw the ball to. So now here in round 7, tight end Travis Kelce, 99 overall, is still on the board here, but Julio Jones at 97 overall is still here. Travis Kelce would be very nice at 99 overall, but The playbook that I use is the Bengals one. While the tight end is very important, it's not really like utilized too much. It is utilized, but not like to the extent of wide receivers. Like if you guys know the Bengals playbook, it's like insane for wide receivers. So Julio Jones, 97 overall. We're going to add another 97 overall in back-to-back rounds at the wide receiver position. And now for round 8, we are going to be going back to the defensive side of the ball. Now, I don't know if I want to go corner. I mean, we could get Night Train Lane and pair him up with Ed Reed and Charles Woodson and just have a absolute no-fly zone of a secondary. We don't have a linebacker yet, but I don't really know if I want to get a linebacker now. Like, we can wait on linebacker, honestly. So, like, I'm not too concerned about that. We could add Von Miller, 96 overall, or we could go interior, Mean Joe Green. I mean, there's a lot of very good options here, but I think what would make the most sense is probably going with Von Miller, because at 96 overall, the edge rushers do kind of have a drop off in overall. So if we add Von Miller now, I feel like it makes a lot more sense to do that, because the defensive interior guys, there's like a ton of 90 pluses here. So I feel like it probably makes more sense to go with an edge rusher here. Even though Mean Joe Green would be an amazing addition to this team, it makes a little more sense to go edge rusher here. So Von Miller, we will be pairing him up with Aaron Donald and Michael Strahan here. But if Mean Joe Green is still here, I'm gonna take him. Like, I cannot pass up on him for another round. And he's not here. Ndamukong Suh, 94 overall, is the highest rated interior guy. But I think what we'll do, we'll go corner here. And Night Train Lane is still available at 97 overall. We're not going to pass up on him for another round. We will be adding him to our secondary, and we're going to have a complete no-fly zone of a secondary. Like, we have Charles Woodson, Ed Reed, and Night Train Lane, and we still have to get a strong safety. Let's just see, who are the highest rated strong safety? John Lynch at 94 overall. Harrison Smith is here. I might end up going with him. And Paul Krause is here, another Vikings legend, and he's also the all-time interceptions leader. Fun fact, that's one of the records I think will never be broken in the NFL. Like, I just think it's going to be way too hard for someone to do that. And with that being said, we will be adding him to our team here and making the secondary even more elite than it already is. And now for round 11, I think we go back to the offensive side of the ball with LaDainian Tomlinson, 98 overall. And at running back is the highest rated one. But like I mentioned earlier, I do use the Bengals offensive playbook, and the Bengals offensive playbook doesn't really give your running back any love at all. It's actually like ridiculous how you can have such a good running back, but the playbook doesn't really give your running back as many carries as he probably should be getting. We're going to be waiting on a running back and instead going with an offensive lineman, because we still have yet to take one. And Randall McDaniel, the Vikings bias could come back in, but let's see. What about right guard? 94 overall, and then right tackle 95. So we'll go with Randall McDaniel here. He is the highest rated offensive lineman on the board. And now for round 12, I think it's time we go with a tight end, but wow, there's still a ton of high rated quarterbacks here. Joe Flacco, elite quarterback, 84 overall, sitting here. And Tim Tebow, Jaguars legend, is still here, 80 overall. Matthew Stafford, 90 overall. That's kind of crazy to think about. In round 12, we have a 90 overall quarterback just sitting here. But considering how this roster is, it actually makes a lot of sense. But what we're going to be doing here in round 12, Jimmy Graham is just sitting here. And since we have a need at tight end, we will be adding the 6'7", 260, 93 overall Saints legend, Jimmy Graham. He's 37 here. Wow. Goodness gracious. But yeah, we added him to the team here. This team is ancient. I just saw the Vikings took LaDainian Tomlinson. I was thinking about taking him in this round if he was still here, but he's not. And Marshall Faulk is also gone here. I think he was a 96 or maybe he was a 97. So I would have taken one of them if they were still available here. But since they're not, we're just going to look elsewhere. And we do still have yet to take a linebacker, and it would probably be a good idea to do that. There's also interior defensive linemen that we could take, but I mean, there's still a ton of good ones on the board. So yeah, I think we can wait on that and instead go with 95 overall Legion of Boom legend Bobby Wagner here in round 13. And in round 14, we are going to be adding another piece to the defensive side of the ball. CJ Mosley, we do run a 4-3, so we do need 3 linebackers. I'm not going to get the third one for probably a couple more rounds, so we'll just add a 92 overall while we still can. CJ Mosley here in round 14, welcome to the team. And now I think it's about time we fill out this offensive line. So Jason Peters, 94 overall, what about right tackle? Trent Brown, 89 overall, what about right guard? Let's see, Kevin Zeitler. So the offensive linemen are starting to get taken here. Alex Mack, 93. A little bit of a voice crack there, but we'll ignore that. So Jason Peters, 94 overall. How old is he here? He's 42, so we have an ancient left tackle. But nonetheless, we will gladly add him here. Is Alex Mack still on the board? He is 93 overall. We'll add him here and see what offensive lineman will still be on the board here in round 17. Like I said, a lot of them were getting taken. So Dwayne Brown, 92 overall. He is high. Oh, I should have known. I already looked at that, but we'll just pretend I didn't do that and add Dwayne Brown, 92 overall. Here in, what was that, round 18? My controller disconnects, so that's awesome. So I guess I was wrong. We're in round 18 right now, but nonetheless, we need one more offensive lineman, and Kevin Zeitler, 87 overall. What about left guard? 88 overall. Andres P is 1 overall point higher, so we're gonna go with him here and complete our offensive line here in round 18, and then we still have to take a running back, which we might just do here. We also do need a third wide receiver and a third corner, and we also do need a defensive tackle, which I completely forgot about, which I was just thinking about it too, so I don't know how I forgot about it, but I did. Gary Johnson, 91 overall. We will add him here and complete our defensive line. Normally I complete my defensive line a lot earlier than this, but I guess here I was just a little too forgetful, and that might actually be the first time I've completed my offensive line before my defensive line, which is kind of crazy because I usually get my defensive line done early. So yeah, that might actually be the first time I've done that. So yeah, that's something. But anyways though, Steve Largent, 96 overall. He's been sitting at the top of the board for a while, and I've also been thinking about taking him for a while. And I mean, in round 20, getting a 96 overall is amazing value. And so that's exactly what we are going to be doing, adding our third wide receiver here in round 20, and now we will go with our third corner in round 21. So Jack Butler doesn't have an overall. That's pretty interesting, and we have a lot more doubles here. Wow, so we got a ton of doubles. Well, now he has an overall. That's good because I just wouldn't have known what his overall is. So I think what I'll do is I'll take the second one, just because I don't know if it's like glitched out or something. So I don't know, we'll see if I try drafting him how this goes. I mean, it went normal. Is the other one still going to be on the board though? Like, we'll see. Is the other one still going to be here? And no. So that means he either got drafted or it was like a glitch or something. So I don't know. I mean, this is EA, so I wouldn't be surprised if it's like glitching out, but I don't know. I've never seen that glitch before, so I don't really know what to think about that. But anyways though, Jerome Bettis, 95 overall. Just sitting here at round 22, and since we are in need of a running back, this pick makes a ton of sense. So Jerome Bettis will be added to the team here, and now we really don't have many positions that we need. We do still need another linebacker, so we can just do that here. And wow, a lot of the linebackers are gone. Wow, like most of the good ones are gone. Like, maybe I should have taken the linebacker earlier, but it looks like Quincy Williams is the highest rated actual linebacker still here, because of course Justin Houston and Chandler Jones are edge rushers. So Quincy Williams, we will be adding him to our defense here in round 23. Okay, here in round 25 we will be adding a kicker to the team. We also don't have a punter or fullback, so we'll be handling those three in these 3 rounds. So Harrison Butker, 83, is currently the highest rated kicker on the board here. It does not look like there's any legendary kickers, so I don't know, they either got taken already or maybe there's just none added, even though I thought I saw one earlier. Maybe I was just seeing things or something. But AJ Cole is 85 overall, so he is ranked a little bit higher than the kickers here. So we're just gonna add AJ Cole to the team here and then figure out kicker next round with whatever kickers are on the board. But all 3 of the 83 overalls are still here, so that either means all the other teams drafted legendary kickers, or there's just none added and none of the other teams are taking kickers. But Harrison Butker is ranked number 1 here, and he's 6'4". Wow, that's pretty tall for a kicker. I mean, Brandon Aubrey, he's 6'3". So Brandon McManus, he's 6'3". Okay, so wow, but Daniel Carlson is 6'5". But wow, these kickers are tall. That's kind of like a realization to me. Anders Carlson is 6'5". I'm pretty sure that's Daniel Carlson's brother, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of like a realization to me. Trey Wolf, he's 6'4". Like, these kickers are tall. Wow, I didn't even think about kicker height, but I don't know. I guess you learn something new every day. But yeah, Harrison Butker is the highest rated kicker on the board, so we'll take him here. And then Here in round 27, we really only have like a fullback we need to add. I guess we could add a 4th wide receiver just for fun. But outside of that, we don't really have any needs. But yeah, Jim Taylor, 94 overall, is our highest rated fullback on the board, so we'll add him here. But I mean, I guess why not? We could add a 4th wide receiver. Adam Thielen, 89 overall, Vikings bias. We're going to add him here to the team. But yeah, that is going to be it for the draft. We will just advance onto the end, and we will check out the roster that we built. And before we go through and look at what the roster is looking like, I want to see if the doubles that showed up in the draft are still actually here. So we'll just look through right here. So there's only one Randall Cunningham, and then Dante Culpepper, there's only one. So I guess it was just a draft glitch. What about the Larry Allens as well? There's only one. So yeah, I'm guessing it was just a one-time thing during the draft, which is pretty weird because I've never seen any kind of a glitch like that before. So like that could just be a new glitch that like just started happening or something like that. But yeah, there's only one Jack Butler. So I'm guessing it was just a draft glitch, and I guess that is what it is. So yeah, and there's also no like legend kickers or punters, but the reason I thought there was is because I was looking at another roster before I decided to do this one, and that roster did have legendary kickers and punters in it, so I kind of got a little confused and was expecting them to be in this one, but they are not. And with that being said, we are going to look at what the roster is looking like. So the team is currently a 97 overall with a 97 offense and a 99 overall defense. And like I mentioned earlier, we do use the Bengals playbook for offense, and for defense we do use the Bills playbook. Those are just the playbooks that I've seen have the most success, so I use them for all the sims that I do in order to maximize the potential of the team, because for some reason Madden Sim is just so playbook dependent. It's actually insane. Like, you could have a 99 overall team and it could still suck if you don't have a good playbook, which is just insane. I really hope it gets fixed for Madden 26. Will it? Most likely not, but I like to be optimistic. But yeah, with that being said, this is what the offense is looking like. We got Fran Tarkenton leading the way. He's going to be throwing to Marvin Harrison, Julio Jones, and Jimmy Graham with an amazing offensive line in front of him. And I believe Andres Pete is the only current player that's going to be starting. I mean, Jimmy Graham, I don't think he's officially retired, but he's not on a team. Dwayne Brown, he actually might be on a team. I should probably look that up. Okay, Dwayne Brown is not currently on a team. And Jason Peters, I'm pretty positive he's not on a team. I'm going to look it up just to be 100% sure. And he's not. He's actually officially retired. I know he was on a team like 2 years ago or something like that, but according to Google, he is officially retired, so we will take Google's word on that. Adam Thielen is here. He's a current player, but he also is wide receiver 4, so he might not be getting that many reps this season. But yeah, this is the 97 overall offense, but with the Bengals offensive playbook, it's pretty much a 99. But yeah, the defense is looking insane, and we're at a 99 overall, which is an overall that I completely agree with. And we have a defensive line of Von Miller, Aaron Donald, Gary Johnson, and Michael Strahan. This is going to be an insane defensive line. We might actually lead the league in sacks. That very well could happen. And I'd imagine our run defense will be very good as well. And then our secondary is just basically a no-fly zone. Charles Woodson, Night Train Lane, Paul Krause, and Ed Reed. And then of course our linebackers, Quincy Williams, Bobby Wagner, and CJ Mosley. So this defense is just built up all across the board. And even though Quincy Williams is an 84 overall, we're still a 99 overall, which is kind of crazy to think about. Considering how big the overall gap is, to still have a 99 overall is pretty crazy. So even though the entire league has beefed up rosters, I would imagine this defense will still perform very well, because the CPU, what they do when they draft, they also take age into account. So CPU teams will have slightly lower overalls at certain positions just because they choose to value age over overalls, but that's something we benefit from, so that's absolutely nothing to complain about. And also something I noticed about our offense, every single starter has normal dev, even though it doesn't really matter because, like I said, this is just a one season thing. That's just something I noticed here. But so yeah, with all that being said, we will go ahead and sim through this season to see how this team can do. And before we do that, as always, we got to do our record prediction. So I mean, it's very tough because, like, I think this team, like, obviously this team is very good. It's a 97 overall, 99 defense, but every other team is going to be like at minimum like a 95, I would imagine. So like it's going to be a very competitive season. So we could go like 9-8 and win the division or something like that. Even though this team is so good, we still could go like 9-8 and win the division. But I'll be a little bit bold. I'll go 12-5. That will be my record prediction. I'm not usually the best at those, so take that with a grain of salt. If you guys want, you can comment your record prediction, and without further ado, I'll go ahead and sim through the season. And if you guys have been enjoying this, I did do a couple of other historical roster fantasy drafts. I did a Madden 12 roster fantasy draft, as well as a Madden 18 roster fantasy draft, and also an updated roster fantasy draft. So if you want to check those out, those are all up on my channel. And we go 15-2, so we did a lot better than I expected. So yeah, I was kind of right when I said this season would be a competitive one. The Bengals win their division going 9-8, and I mean the worst record in the AFC is 5-12, which granted that's not a good record, but I mean there could be a lot worse than 5-12. And just looking at stats, Fran Tarkenton led the league with 57 touchdowns. Oh my gosh, Fran Tarkenton went off. So 5,000 passing yards and 57 touchdowns. That's insane. Charles Woodson, he's top 3 with interceptions with 5. Normally I don't go through stats on this, but we kind of have to. And I'm assuming he won MVP. Yeah, I was going to be shocked if he didn't, but did I win Coach of the Year? Just out of curiosity, I did. Okay, cool. But yeah, 57 passing touchdowns. That's insane. Let's just see what records got broken. So Fran Tarkenton broke the passing touchdown record, but it doesn't look like any other record got broken, which is kind of honestly surprising. I thought there would be a couple of records broken, but I guess not, is what it is. But what about game records? There was also no game records that got broken, so that's kind of surprising. I thought there would be some records broken, but I guess not. But let's just see. So Fran Tarkenton, he went off. That's insane. Only 5 interceptions. If we don't win a Super Bowl, there's an issue with that. Rushing yards, Jerome Bettis, he went for over 1,000, 10 touchdowns. Usually with the Bengals playbook, you know, like I've mentioned earlier, the running back doesn't really get that many carries. So to get over 1,000 is pretty good considering the playbook we have. We have 3 receivers over 1,000 yards. Marvin Harrison, he caught 19 touchdowns, 13 for Julio Jones, 8 for Steve Largent, and then 9 for Jimmy Graham. And then defensive wise, let's just see sacks, 17.5 for Michael Strahan, 13.5 for Aaron Donald, 13 for Gary Johnson, and Von Miller 8.5. I want to see, did we have any touchdowns? We had quite a few, so we had 3. Charles Woodson with 1. So it's very possible Charles Woodson wins Defensive Player of the Year. Paul Krause, 1 touchdown for him. Night Train Lane, 1 touchdown for him as well. So we'll just check real quick to see, and he does not. Okay, well, he was not even considered. Wow, so he's not even top 10. Michael Strahan is though, and Fran Tarkenton wins Offensive Player of the Year. I mean, when you throw 57 touchdowns, it makes a lot of sense. Marvin Harrison's also on here, as well as Julio Jones. But yeah, that's enough yapping about stats. I think we should go ahead and advance to the divisional round and see what team we are going to be taking on here, and is going to be a division rival, the Houston Texans. So the Houston Texans have Myles Garrett and Mean Joe Green on the same defensive line. That's going to be a pretty brutal matchup there. But looking at our team ranks, we were first with points, first with passing yards, first with defensive points, and third for defensive rush yards. Our pass yards on defense were 17th with that, but maybe that could be attributed to a lot of garbage time yards because, I mean, we went 15-2, so there had to be a couple of stat pad garbage time games in there. And rush yards were 21st. That's just kind of how it goes with the Bengals offensive playbook. But yeah, the Texans team ranks aren't really that good at all. Like, their only thing that's like decent is pass yards and defensive rush yards. Outside of that, like, they really don't have the looks of a playoff team, it looks like. I mean, they are a 93 overall with a 92 offense, 96 defense, but like, these team ranks are not that good at all. But just out of curiosity, what was the score of their first round game? They beat the Raiders, so they're the 7th seed. They beat the Raiders 26-21. But I guess now we will see if we can end their 1-game winning streak here in the playoffs. And we do to take on another division rival, Tennessee Titans here. We beat them 31-25, and now we go on to take on the Tennessee Titans, who have Sauce Gardner, Eric Dickerson, and George Kittle. The team ranks are glitched out, sometimes that happens. It's showing the Texans won here. So we don't really get a proper scouting report ahead of this big divisional round matchup. So we will just advance onto the Super Bowl to see if we can make it and go on to the Super Bowl here in the Legends Fantasy Draft. And we lost. Are you kidding me, dude? This 98 overall team just lost. What was the score? If we got blown out, I'm going to break my monitor. We lost by 3. So Fran Tarkenton threw an interception, which he rarely did in the regular season. And that's probably what cost us. I mean, we lost by 3. So throwing one less touchdown and one more interception is kind of not the key to success. His longest pass was 26 yards. That's what was the offensive coordinator drawing up? I mean, that's kind of crazy. So it turns out Harrison Butker missed 2 field goal attempts, which if he had made both of them, we would have won. Well, if he even made one of them, we would have went to overtime, and we possibly could have won that game. Griggs Airline missed one as well. I just want to see how far away were these kicks. Okay, I mean, they were over 50. So, I mean, I guess you can't get too mad at that because they could have been 60-yarders for all I know. But I don't know. Maybe I guess it's the offense's fault for not getting closer. But, man, that is so disappointing. We have a 98 overall team, and we fall just short. But before we end off this video, I just want to see what was the season series against them. So we beat them 35-13. We destroyed them the first time we played them. What about the second time? And we beat them by 12 in the second game. So I guess they got the best of us in the third game. Super unfortunate. They go on to the Super Bowl. We'll just see, just for fun, to see if they go on to win the Super Bowl. So the Titans do end up going on to win the Super Bowl after taking us down in the conference championship. Well, that is going to be it for the Madden 25 Legends Fantasy Draft. Thank you all so much for watching all the way into the end. I really appreciate that. If you enjoyed, feel free to check out the other Madden 25 content I have up on my channel. I have a ton of playlists with a lot of variety of content, so feel free to check that out if you enjoyed. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching. I will see you all next time.